Animal, they're instinctive, like I smell fear or I smell alpha, and they smell alpha. And Democrats have to come up with an alpha, and it's not Tim Walz.
No, probably not.
And it's not Tim, the other Tim who ran.
Kane?
Tim Kane. These are not alphas. Trump
Really interesting.
is one of the most effective politicians, whatever you think of the policy and him as a person, just as a politician, just understanding that always lean in to being more who you are. The people are not savvy about issues, but they smell a phony a mile away.
Looks like the Democrats have been taking notes. Word is, they're seriously eyeing Tim Walz to go head-to-head with Donald Trump. Why? Because Trump's alpha persona clearly resonates with a huge part of the country, and now the DNC wants their own tough guy counter. Enter Tim Walz. You'd think Bill Maher would be on board, especially after dragging the party for pushing figures like AOC. But nope, Maher was not having it. Instead, he went off on the DNC, blasting them for thinking Walz has what it takes to square up with Trump. Don't take my word for it. Just watch this clip.
Democrats have to come up with an alpha, and it's not Tim Walz.
No, probably not.
And it's not Tim, the other Tim who ran.
Kane?
Tim Kane. These are not alphas. It's like this thing of like, let's get a woman and then a docile man who's in every commercial where he's the asshole while mom takes care of business. That's not a message that makes the tribe go, who is strong? Who's strong? Who's strong? Tim Walz. No. Oh, give me a rock. I need to kill myself because Tim Walz. That you gotta appeal to people at a sort of post-civilization stage where we're kind of at on a primal level.
That was a solid roast. I mean, who seriously thinks Tim Walz can take on Trump? Even Bill Maher, a lifelong Democrat and one of Trump's harshest critics, isn't buying it. He flat out said Walz doesn't stand a chance, and even joked he'd rather see a female-led ticket than watch Walz fumble on the debate stage. In Maher's words, the guy's not even a beta male. And he didn't stop there. Maher kept piling, on with brutal takedowns that left
message, and then you find the messenger. No, but that's how it works for Trump.
That's the worst thing the Democrats always say. Message, here's a message. Yeah, first of all, they did and they don't like it. Second of all, they don't give a shit. It's not about the message. Trump changes his message from day to day. Tariffs everywhere, tariffs nowhere.
Those are policy
it doesn't
decisions.
matter. But they don't care about policy.
His
They
message-
don't understand it. His message is, I'm me, I'm strong, and I'm daddy. They're on this daddy thing, and people want a daddy. Tucker Carlson, that whole thing, you've heard that thing about daddy came home and you need a spanking. And I'm like, this is getting a little weird, Mrs. Robinson. Daddy, but you know what? That's what works, and that's what people respond to. They don't know the issues. They don't know the facts.
I agree.
And they have no interest in learning about them. They're like an animal. They're instinctive. Like, I smell fear or I smell alpha. And they smell alpha. And Democrats have to come up with an alpha.
School mayor's a total savage, ripping into Tim Walz and his so-called campaign. Be honest, do any of you remember what Walz's actual message was? Because I sure don't. If you do, drop it in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. But Maher's got a point. America didn't rally behind Trump for some detailed policy agenda. They backed the vibe, the dominance, the alpha male swagger. It wasn't about proposals, it was about presence. In a time when the country craved strength on the world stage, Trump embodied that raw, unapologetic masculinity. Like it or not, it worked. Maher admits he respected Trump's presence, but what he says next about Trump totally shocks the Democrats.
Is one of the most effective politicians, whatever you think of the policy and him as a person, just as a politician, just understanding that always lean in to being more who you are. The people are not savvy about issues, but they smell a phony a mile away. And that kind of shit, nobody else does it.
Cool Bill Maher. Didn't hold back, he sees Tim Walz as a total phony. The kind of politician who tries to please everyone and ends up standing for nothing. In sharp contrast, Maher views Trump as the real deal. Like him or not, what you see is what you get. No filter, no act. Trump speaks his mind, for better or worse. And that raw authenticity, it resonates. Millions connect with that unpolished confidence. Meanwhile, Walz's record is riddled with contradictions and flat-out lies. He preached strict COVID rules, then showed up maskless at indoor events. He claimed Minnesota's economy was booming, while the state faced a huge budget shortfall. And during the George Floyd riots, his messaging swung wildly between outrage and excuses. No wonder Maher isn't buying what Walz is selling, but surprisingly, he did buy into Trump's presidency, and here's why.
Can do that, and sometimes kind of make me go, oh man, I gotta give it up. Like when he did that thing where the guy came in from the Taliban and he said, this is an aerial picture of your house. If during our withdrawal, one American is hurt, just know I know where you live. I was like, oh, can we just play the music now? Because I don't care, it's Donald Trump and he's the worst person ever, blah, blah, blah. I fucking love that. Mm-hmm. One time they were doing something was going on and he said, you know what? When you come after New York, you got to go through me. It's like, oh, hometown boy. You know, he has those moments that no other politician has. And the Democrats have to find that guy.
The Democrats are scrambling to find someone, anyone, who can match Trump's energy, charisma, and raw connection with voters. But here's the billion-dollar problem. Their current lineup either alienates moderates or fails to fire up the base. And then came the jaw-dropper. Bill Maher, longtime Trump critic, had a moment of unexpected admiration. Some might chalk it up to a slip of the tongue, or maybe blame it on whatever Maher was smoking that night. But let's be real. Substances don't invent opinions. They strip the filter. That wasn't a fluke. That was honesty. Maher's been dragging Trump for years. But lately, it sounds more like reluctant respect. Not for Trump's morals, but for his sheer dominance, resilience, and unrivaled presence on the political stage. And that, right there, is the left's biggest problem. They still can't replicate it.
Does it better than anybody?
Trump does, and he started with a rejection principle. What took him from being a joke to being a messenger was two things. One that was really missed in the media, and I was just fortunate to be covering the rallies, so I saw it sooner. We forgot how powerful celebrity is in the American psyche, and that Trump being a TV star, see, I never saw him as a TV star because I've just known him my whole life.
Not just a TV star, but one who played a boss.
Yes. And that apprentice is really everybody wanted to be him. Now, maybe not certain aspects of his personality, but the money, the power, the agency. So they missed that. But when he really turned was, I know who you hate and I know what you hate because they all come to me and I hate them too. And I will make them pay.
Chris Cuomo absolutely nails it. Donald Trump didn't just get lucky in politics. He read the room like a pro. He sensed the national frustration boiling over, radical left-wing policies, culture wars, economic anxiety, and identity-obsessed rhetoric. While Democrats leaned into that chaos, Trump did the opposite. He capitalized on it. He knew exactly what average Americans were fed up with, and he spoke directly to those concerns. Using his celebrity status, Trump packed arenas and turned rallies into cultural movements. But it wasn't just a show. He had a message. He promised to roll back the madness, restore order, and recenter values that many believed were trampled under Biden's watch. Agree or disagree, Trump tapped into something very real. And that is why he's still a dominant political force. Today,
Trump was ever selling himself as a cure is bullshit. He was selling himself as a virus. I will get into the political corpus and I will make it sick. And that is what sustains him, is that when the media comes after him for something, people are like, yeah, but you're kind of part of what I hate. And he's fighting what I hate. Oh yeah, but he's this and that. You know, that's what you say. But you're like that too. Everybody is. And the people who you like are like that too, but you're only going after him.
Understand their hate. A lot of what they hate, I hate too.
Yeah. I get it.
But I just won't go. But I also have a rational mind.
Yes.
So I don't go all the way to then this is because it is worse to me.
Right.
What if you don't really believe in the secession of power, if you don't really believe in the emergency of climate change, I can't get on board with you. But yeah, the political instincts, the connection with people. I mean, people are always saying, I'm saying, it's my editorial this Friday about Republicans being North Korean with their leader, but why? The reason why that they're so afraid of him is that they know he has a connection. If you're a congressman, a senator, he has a connection with my voters that I do not have.
Nope. He will beat you.
I do not have that connection.
He will primary you, and more often than not, you will lose.
Why every Republican is like, you're the alpha, that like animals do.
The inflection moment for me, and this was like probably, I don't know, right now is a little bit of a competition with how the Democrats are handling this. But when I heard people on TV suggest that he hadn't been shot at and that the bullet didn't hit him.
Oh, I did that bit in my special. It's so ridiculous.
It was so, I was like, wow, they've really lost the fucking plot. This guy just got shot in the head. I called him. I was so embarrassed by how he handled it.
He did not get shot in the head, Chris. He got nicked in the ear.
Listen, if it was your ear, you'd say, I got shot in the head.
He did not get shot in the head. If he had, this country would probably be in a civil war right now.
I know.
Road that day. And I remember arriving at the hotel. We had flown from the first city. It was the second city on my weekend things that I used to do. And I remember getting out of the car in front of the hotel, and the guy who came to get the bag said, "Did you hear Trump got shot?" I said, "No, we hadn't. It just had happened." I looked on my phone, and I was going to go on stage in 3 hours. And I, wrote a whole thing, and also did it on my show Friday that night, that later that week. Like, this is not funny. I'm not laughing at this. Any jokes about what a shame he missed are not what I'm interested in hearing and should not be done. I don't find them funny. I don't find them appropriate. I've been as critical of Donald Trump as anybody I have standing here. But this is not cool because people were already doing